Hello, my name's Sheila. It's very strange how things happen sometimes. Some people would say it is coincidence, but I believe that God is involved in many things and that there is no such thing as coincidence in God's eyes. So this is why I have done this video, to show how God can use things. Over the past weeks, I have been reading Romans and have been seeing what God says about being a Christian. And basically, if we are not for God, we are for Satan, and there is no sitting on the fence. So, at the beginning of this week, I was reading Romans 6 verse 15 to 7 verse 6 before the 8 a.m. prayer meeting. In chapter 7 verses 1 to 3, Paul uses the illustration of marriage. And it says in verses 1 to 4, "Or do you not know, brothers, for I am speaking to those who know the law, that the law is binding on a person only as long as he lives. For a married woman is bound by law to her husband while he lives. But if her husband dies, she is released from the law of marriage. Accordingly, she will be called an adulteress if she lives with another man while her husband is alive. But if her husband dies, she is free from that law, and if she remarries another man, she is not an adulteress. Likewise, my brother, you also have died to the law through the body of Christ, so that you may belong to another, to him who has been raised from the dead, in order that we may bear fruit for God." Paul is saying that a married woman is bound to her husband till death. Once he dies, she is free to marry. So we have died to Christ so that we can be alive with him and free from being married to sin. Now, to move on to the prayer meeting, at the end we were talking, and we just so happened to start talking about the weddings that are coming up. And I started then to think about what it means to be married and comparing it to us and God. In a marriage, two single people are joined together, and that will mean change. You marry because you love that person more than anyone else, and you want to be together. So we should love God more than anything else, and our desire should be to be with him. Is it? When you marry, you can no longer make decisions about what you want to do. They have to involve the other person. So it should be with our relationship with God. We need to be living our lives with him and involving him in our lives and the decisions we make. Do I, or do we? Our desire in marriage is to love, be loyal, to bring joy, to be kind and patient, to put the other person first. These are all things we should be growing in our relationship with God. Am I? Or are we? This all came out of what I read independently and what came up out of the prayer meeting. Without this link, I would have left thinking about the passage and thought, well, I know all about that, I understand that. But God used this to draw out other things. Without knowing it, God used these two things, the passage that I read and the conversations that we had afterwards, to help me look up at marriage and how important it is. God uses things for his glory and his plan. We need to be ready and walking with God, listening for him, and we will start to see many coincidences happen where God is at work. I hope you find that you have many coincidences in the next few weeks. Have a good day.